What's up, guys? I'm gonna go ahead and do a quick little beginner video just because I've had a couple of my buddies ask. Just an easy way or how to even do an oil change on pretty much any sport bike. They're all very, very similar. Location of oil filter may vary slightly, but not by very much. As you can see up here, I have the Ninja 400 race bike and it needs an oil change. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. I'm not gonna do the oil filter because I just did after my last oil change, and I change my oil very, very frequently, usually after every 2 days of riding. This is the way to do it for any sport bike. I'm just gonna be doing an oil change, but I'll explain how to do the filter. It's very simple as well. Let's get started. Bikes they'll have the oil filter straight up at the front of the motorcycle. A couple bikes are slightly different. I want to say R6s are slightly different. I think the ZX10, ZX6R, ZX10R are slightly different as well. But for the most part, you're gonna have the oil filter right up full front on certain bikes like the Supermoto and I think KTMs, and I think the Aprilia as well. They have an internal oil filter. That one's slightly different. But once you locate that, the process of this is all going to be the same. So first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and cut my safety wire. One very important thing about safety wire, you want to try to cut it so there's no tiny pieces, because if this gets anywhere, you want to be careful with safety wire. This is a flat tire waiting to happen, so make sure you obviously dispose of that correctly. All right, now that we got everything off, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pull the oil filler plug. The reason being is because if you try to drain the oil with this filler plug still on, air is going to create a suction. It's not going to want to come. The oil is essentially going to drain much slower, and it may not even drain all the oil. So you want to go ahead and remove that just to essentially create a carb so the oil can flow out freely. I would highly recommend getting one of these drain pans. This one is very inexpensive and I've used it so many times. It's really easy to catch the oil with this. You don't need to transfer it to another container like how you would if you were going to use one of those drain pans, which is just a standard drain pan. It actually catches it all in one. You put the cap back on, and then you can take your oil, recycle it, dispose of it at any AutoZone. Really any shop will take old oil, believe it or not. It's got to be kind of nice and courteous, and they're more than happy to take it. So really any shop, any car shop, for sure motorcycle shop, and even just AutoZone, O'Reilly, they'll all take your old oil to recycle it. So at this point, I'm gonna go ahead and pull this nut off. One little thing to note is that you want to make sure that you don't over tighten the drain plug. You really don't want to over tighten any of these parts because most of these drain plugs are aluminum. You can strip them, crush them, break the head off of them very, very easily. Usually just a little tap and then it'll be open. Make sure I got my drain plug on my can open and off. Go ahead and put it right here off to the side. So you're gonna rotate this off. Come off nice and easy. And now you're gonna see a steady stream of some pretty dirty oil. I think it's been about 3 or maybe even 4 track days. Not that bad actually. So now we just wait. Right now, what I would be doing after this is getting the filter off as well. So I can you can almost turn this so you can catch both. Let the filter drain as well. Go and screw on a new filter. And the good thing to note is to add a little bit of oil into the brand new oil filter. So when you start your motor, that isn't dry. That's definitely a little trick or the trade, I guess you could say, that you want to kind of make sure that you don't do. It's a good idea to kind of keep an eye on your oil, make sure you don't see any metal flakes, nothing like that. It should just be dirty oil. You notice mine is green. That's because I run Motul, nothing but the best. Motul is by far, to me, the best lubricants. I ran them before. Now I'm happy and now I'm lucky enough to be sponsored by them. Stuff to a dribble here, so that's perfect. Go ahead and give this a quick wipe. You definitely want to have a rag that you're essentially going to throw in the trash when you're done. So yeah, simple as that. Now you're just going to go ahead and throw this drain plug back in. You see, this is so cool. It caught everything. Put this off to the side on a little bit of a prop. Put that little bit of extra, go ahead and drain down in there. No longer need it. Got this bad boy finger tight, and now I'm gonna go ahead and just cinch it up even a little bit more here. And you'll see how much I tighten it. It's not gonna be very much. I'm just gonna go until it's tight, and then maybe give it another little, that's it. That's all you need. You don't need to do much more than that. Mine gets safety wired as well, so I know it's not going anywhere. Now we'll pop over to the other side. I'll actually flip the bike around and we'll start putting oil in here. And if you change your oil filter, you'd have already screwed that on. You'll be ready to go. Right now is actually a good chance to go ahead and clean the bike. Just make sure it's always good to have some brake cleaner around. All right, so let's get this bike flipped around. So a good thing to have is a little measuring cup so you know exactly how much oil you're putting in here. Luckily, I have the perfect amount left in this can, so I'm gonna go ahead and probably dump the rest of it in there. But that's definitely a good thing to have, just so you know exactly what's going into your bike. Now, race bikes tend to actually overfill the oil slightly, only because the bikes flip in direction so much that the oil is also moving with it. So if you overfill, tends to keep things lubricated a little bit better. We go a little bit past the high mark here, right at the high mark. You don't want to add too much oil because then you'll be adding a lot of oil pressure, and that's not necessarily always a good thing. Go ahead and start the motor one more time, let it cycle through. So yeah guys, as I button things up here, I want to ask you, did you find this video helpful and informative? Remember the first time I tried to do my first oil change, it is a bit daunting and intimidating, but it actually is really simple, and you can save yourself a couple $100 a year if you just do it yourself. And it's good to know how to do anyway. If this helped you, please comment below. I'd love to know. Thanks for watching, like and subscribe.